Hey, welcome to Geek Speak 26. So, what are we talking about today, brother?
Well, there for the longest time we've had like tons of comic book related movies.
Yes.
And I have noticed with uh, new releases have kind of geared towards video games. Uh, first, I want to say first we had Twisted Metal. Now Amazon's done Fallout, and now they've released a trailer for Borderland. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay,
Uh-uh.
it looks pretty good. You should like it because it's got that one actress you like so much in it.
You'd have to narrow that down.
The one from Lord of the Rings that was
Oh, Kate
also,
Blanchett?
yeah.
Oh, are you kidding me?
But anyway, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, well, is this really new? Because if you think about it, we've already had a Tomb Raider movie, a Sonic movie, a Mortal Kombat movie, Uncharted, yeah, Resident Evil, Hitman,
Super
Angry
Mario
Birds, yeah, Super
Brothers,
Mario Bros.
Hitman,
And I'm sitting there thinking,
Doom.
okay, so really, we're not really entering into a video game era. We've kind of always been in one for a while.
I think we might be entering into a good video game adaptation era because all the ones that came before, say the last year, have been fairly decent. I mean, Twisted Metal, I really enjoyed it.
Right.
And Fallout, which I haven't seen, but everybody says it's
It is
fantastic,
good.
and I
Really,
will
really
have
good.
seen it by the next time we have a Geek Speak 27. But everybody talks about how good it is. But kind of the running joke in the geek community is that video game adaptations are horrible. I love the Hitman game, but the Hitman movie was terrible. Super Mario movie, people didn't like it, and Doom had Dwayne Johnson in it, and he couldn't even save that. And so, all your Resident Evil movies, they're all kind of campy and low budget and kind of B quality. And even when they throw a lot of money at them, they just haven't done well. Teresa's a big fan of Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed had Michael Fassbender in it, and it still didn't do very well.
Mm.
So hopefully people will learn to make good adaptations. And my understanding is that with this new Fallout, that was the case. But no, I hadn't heard about Borderlands.
Yeah, I don't think Kate was the perfect casting for that character, but
Yeah, she's perfect casting for every character, in my opinion. Kate, call me. So, uh, have you ever heard of the actor William Sanderson?
yeah, Will Sanderson. Yeah, I have, but I can't place who it is.
And nobody can place where he is. He's been in tons of movies and television shows, and he was My Name's Larry, and this is my brother Daryl, my other
Oh
brother
yeah, yeah,
Daryl
yeah, yeah.
from Newhart, and he had a big A&W, where he advertised for A&W for the longest time. He was in Deadwood, which is a western, and as he calls it, a potty mouth western. He had a big role in the True Blood, and which he calls vampire porn. And plus he was in Coal Miner's Daughter, and he's been in tons of movies. Of course, you and I know him as J.F. Sebastian
Right.
from Blade
Blade
Runner.
Runner. Yeah.
So if you look behind me on that Blade Runner poster, uh, you know, I, that movie come out in the early '80s, and a lot of those actors are no longer with us.
Right.
And so, our very first video was about Blade Runner, and I got to meet and see Sean Young, who played Rachel, and got her to sign the poster. And she's a good Kentucky girl, and they can't beat Kentucky girls.
Right.
And then not too long ago, I got Edward James Olmos, who played Gaff, to sign it. So I was looking online to see which one of these actors are still alive, and I came across William Sanderson, and he'd written a book. He had some contact information, so I asked him if I could mail him my poster and have him sign it,
Wow.
and then have him and then give him the postage to mail it back. And he
Yeah.
agreed, and I let him know that I understand that by sending this off, it may not get there, or him sending it back, it may not return to me, because that's just the post.
Nature.
Yeah, that's just a risk you take. And so, but I did get it back, and he did sign it, and I'm tickled to death. And it was nice of him, and he didn't have to do that. He's 80 now, and he's got.
Did you send him a thank you?
And yes, I sent him
Okay.
an email
All right.
and told him about you and I renting out the theater and playing
Right,
Blade
right,
Runner,
right.
and he's thankful to be part of a cult film and stuff like that.
Right.
And I dealt mainly with his wife, Sandra, and she was very kind and very nice. I want to say thank you, and I got it framed and on the wall, and every time I look at it, it makes me smile.
That's cool.
And so she told him that, and she said that made him smile.
Yeah,
That's
I'm sure
good.
it's good to be appreciated for the work that you do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And he's one of those characters that's so iconic that lots of times when I read a Western or something, I cast him as one of the characters in my mind.
There you go.
And that's who I picture, and his voice is who I hear. But he's a good old Memphis, Tennessee boy. He grew up with Elvis Presley. And so, but anyway, I appreciate that. So what else you want to talk about?
So, have you seen the latest Deadpool Wolverine trailer?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so it's awesome.
I liked it.
I'm a big fan of Wolverine, period. But there's a lot of speculation, so it's rumored that Taylor Swift is going to make a cameo as Dazzler.
Oh, really?
In it, to where you know how he's supposed to be like going to different universes.
I've had it up to here with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, well, let's see. Wait a second. Ryan Reynolds' wife is going to play Lady Deadpool.
Oh, yeah?
Let's see. Wait a second. Daphne King, the young girl that was X-23.
Yeah.
Is going to come back as an older version of X-23.
That's cool. I like that.
It's even rumored that this was supposed to be the movie that's supposed to kind of kick off another multiverse kind of thing.
That's what we need.
To where there's like a Secret Wars. Remember the Secret Wars series?
We need another multiverse, like we need another orifice.
Well, it's also rumored that they're going to bring back all the Avengers.
Yeah.
Even the dead ones, Iron Man, Black Widow, because they'll be picking them from other universes.
Yeah.
So they only had to tweak them a little bit.
Yeah, the trailer wasn't very long. What I noticed about it is they dropped like 27 F-bombs in a 2-minute trailer, and I think it's their way of saying, hey, this is rated R. All the other Deadpools were rated R, and I know this is Disney's first shot at a Deadpool movie. And but hey, look at all these F-bombs. This is rated R. So I think they were trying to drive that home.
Fucker.
You know, and the thing is, if you can go overboard on that just by the simple fact that you're putting it in just to put it in.
Right.
But yeah, if you watch that trailer, I'm just like, okay, yeah, we get the point. It's rated R. So speaking of Blade Runner.
Okay.
And I think you might have mentioned this in the past, just you and I talking off camera. But there's a Japanese guy, and he has a Japanese name, which makes sense.
Most Japanese guys do.
I think it's Kazuki Choice or Kazoo Choice, but I forget, and forgive me for that. But he's editing together. There's like 4 different cuts of Blade Runner.
Right.
And so he's taken all those cuts and plus deleted scenes that he was able to get from like documentaries and stuff, and he spliced them all together to make like an extended cut of Blade Runner, which he calls Blade Runner White Dragon Edit.
Huh.
Blade Runner the White Dragon Edit. He has a YouTube channel, and he's been showing his work over the last several years.
Okay.
And how he pieced it together, and there was like voiceovers that you didn't hear before. And so, it's really interesting and throws a different light onto the characters. Not only, you can't get enough Blade Runner, that original Blade Runner, but like there's one voiceover where Deckard's talking about where he was married before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he'd come in with blood on him, and his wife would say, he'd say, that's just replicant blood, and she'd be like, yeah, but it's blood, and so it's real interesting, and so if you get a chance to watch the little clips, November 2024, which we'll be honest before you realize it,
right.
He's supposed to release that white edit cut, and so I'm really impressed with a lot of edits that's done on movies, because editing really makes or break a movie.
Exactly.
And I love Blade Runner the way it is, but if you can, when I watch Lord of the Rings, I watch the extended cuts, because you know they have another hour of Lord of the Rings on there that they cut out. So to watch Blade Runner at some point and have all that edited in, there's even some scenes in the script that never was filmed that he's tried to recreate, like the dance, the snake girl that does the dance, and he tried to use CGI to recreate that, and I mean,
are we gonna get to see the snake?
yeah. But I mean, it's he's really put a lot of effort into it, and it warms my heart to think in 2024 there are still huge Blade Runner fans out there, and you got a guy that's all the way across the other side of the world in Japan who's so passionate about it. He's taking this time and effort to do that. So I'm so excited about that. What else you want to talk about?
So, y'all are nerds, I'm nerds, we're geeks, right? So, as we do, we keep an eye on everything when it comes to news and releases and things like that. And like in the past, toy companies and different promotional things will, unbeknownst to them, be releasing Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Well, one of the newest ones is McDonald's has released their upcoming Happy Meal toys for America, Captain America. Let's see, Captain America, Brave New World.
Oh, the one with Falcon in it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, without really letting anybody know, one of the figures is Diamondback, which is going to be the villain. Nobody knew who the villain was.
Yeah.
Until McDonald's kind of like had a spoiler.
Yeah, let's cat out of the bag.
Yeah, and I think it's amusing. Like a lot of people keep an eye on Lego sets.
Yeah.
And different Star Wars sets and stuff like that, because it kind of.
Those toy companies have to work on those toys ahead of time.
Right.
Before the release of those movies, so that they can come out during the release of those movies.
But like you said, editing changes things.
Yeah.
Like Diamondback was part of a group of supervillains.
The Serpent something.
Yeah. And now they're thinking about cutting that whole group out.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they're still going to keep her as well, or
yeah. I'd say there's lots of edits to that movie. They did a bunch of test audiences for the next Captain America without Captain America. I mean, it's Falcon taking over the role of Captain America, and test audiences hated it.
Oh, really?
So they edited that thing up and down, sideways, trying to get it to where maybe they can actually release a movie and make some money as opposed to losing it. So let's see. There's a YouTube channel called Cartoonist Kayfabe. And it's huge. So we're on this end of the spectrum of YouTube, and they're on that end. I mean, it's real popular. Geeks love it, and they would like look at old Wizard magazines and talk about it. But Ed Piskor, he was one of the guys. It was two guys like you and I, and they had a YouTube channel and had millions of subscribers. And they would like get a comic book from the 90s, back when comic books were good, and they would thumb through it, and they were both artists, and they would talk about the art styles and give their opinions on it. It was very entertaining, and I enjoyed it. Well, there were some accusations made, and so during the whole COVID thing and the shutdown, he had started talking to a girl online. And so he's like 41 or something like that.
Okay.
Well, at some point in the conversation, he asked the girl her age, and she was 17. And so the accusation was made that, you know, he was grooming her. He was saying, you know, if you do favors for me, I'll help you get into the comic book industry, because she was a young artist. But the fact is, you know, if you go back and you look at the messages, they were all fairly innocent. But this come out like 1 week, and before 7 days had gone by, he wrote an explanation saying he was totally innocent. Maybe he shouldn't talk to her, but there was nothing sexual said. But it got to him so bad he committed suicide.
Oh.
And so he was huge in the comic book world. And so he was a well-known name. And so it just goes back to, I really don't care about public opinion.
Right.
and I think you're beyond that too. But for his generation, you know, a lot of people really seek those likes and they really seek those subscribers, and their value and their self-worth comes from being admired and being liked.
Right.
And so when people turn against him, and the guy that did the show with him even turned against him.
Oh.
And oftentimes we talked about this in the past with Johnny Depp and Justin Roiland from Rick and Morty.
Right, right.
Oftentimes people turn against you before they know all the facts. They're just real quick to tear you down.
Right.
Real quick to build you up, real
Innocent
quick to tear
till
you down.
proven guilty.
Right. And the fact is that, let's say she was 17, he is 41. If there was some type of attraction there, and there's a huge age difference there, but the fact is he could just wait until she was 18. But nothing was done. Nothing was done. But the thing is, he felt so bad and so guilty that he took his own life.
So it was the population or the people who drove him into the depression or whatever that led him to his suicide.
Yeah, I mean, he went from being super popular to super hated. He knew what was coming. They were going to tear him down. Just like they tore Justin Roiland down, they tore Johnny Depp down. Now, but the thing is, the guy, he was just talking to a girl online. And it was conversation the way we're having a conversation.
You say they tore him down, but Johnny Depp is Johnny Depp, and he's going to keep working.
Yeah.
Justin Roiland has moved on, and he's still got a career.
Yeah.
This young man could have done the same thing.
But I think the lesson to be learned is, number one, somebody's innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
Anybody can make accusations about anybody at any time. But the thing is when it comes to popular opinion, who cares? Who cares? You know, I appreciate each and every one of our subscribers.
Right.
But ultimately, we do this because we enjoy it. We're not monetized. We're not doing it for money.
Yeah, we don't even mind pissing each other off.
No, we do it. We do it all the time, and probably will before the end of the day. But the thing is that people place too much emphasis on whether somebody likes you or don't. And the fact is, you got as much control over that as you do the weather.
Right.
And you just have to. I don't know what the temperature is going to be tomorrow, but we'll just deal with it, whatever it is. And so, what else you got?
That's it.
Comic book recommendation. Okay, so comic book recommendation is there's a French comic called Elves, and it's written by Jean-Luc Iston and illustrated by Kyoko Diarte. And it's a French comic that's been translated over into English. And you can pick them up at your comic book stores, or you can pick them up on Amazon. And crack that open and check the art out.
Cracking it open, boss.
But if you like fantasy, and you're into elves, there's like 30-some volumes of this, and the art is great. The stories are great. It's a bunch of short, self-contained stories. They've got one on dwarves. They've got one on orcs.
Okay, if you're an old geek, better got your bifocals because the printing is small.
But the art's
good.
But the art's very, very good, and the story's good. And what more do you want from a graphic novel or a comic book? So that's my recommendation. So try out the first one. You can get them really, really reasonable, and I think you'll like it. I need to give a shout out to Blackwing Crafts as well. I went to Comic-Con recently, and they were selling some stuff, and I told them I'd give them a shout out on the channel.
Cool.
They make miniatures, 3D miniatures.
Okay.
And plus they watch the channel as well. And he didn't even give me a discount, and I still give him a shout out. So
it must be some good stuff.
But I would have liked it better if he gave me a discount, just saying.
Next time.
All right. So we're going to have, before we close out, we've run over time quite a bit.
Right.
Before we close out, we're going to have a geeky yard sale, May 25th.
Okay.
It's on a Saturday. It's going to be from 10 to 4. It's going to be in Frankfort, Kentucky. There'll be information on our Facebook page. And but it's going to be comic books, action figures, DVDs, Blu-rays. The comics are going to be Golden Age, Bronze Age, Modern Age, just thinning out our long boxes. And so it will all be geeky related. So like I said, for the address, check out our Facebook page if you're local, and but there'll be some good deals there. We've been vendors in Comic Cons, and the vendor price of Comic Cons are going up.
Right.
And plus, you got to pay taxes on whatever you sell at a Comic Con, but at a yard sale, you don't have to. So there you go.
Yeah, we're not trying to make a living off of this stuff.
No, we're just getting rid of some old stuff, and we're kind of running out of stuff. This is probably our last little,
Come get our junk.
Yeah, come get our junk, stuff we don't want.
Jeez.
So anyway, you done?
I'm done.
All right, well, appreciate you watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoy our content, and stay geeky, my friends.